Welcome to the VCA Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Marie Curl. Join us as we dive into inspirational stories about our caring and capable associates and their commitment to guiding healing journeys for our patients. Our discussions explore the important ways VCA Animal Hospitals proactively supports the future of veterinary medicine through leading the industry in medical excellence and providing hometown care to our communities. On today's episode, I'm happy to welcome Dr. Sibele Konno. Dr. Konno is the National Medical Leader of Petcare Brazil, which is a division of VCA Animal Hospitals in Brazil. Welcome, Sibele. It's great to have you here.
Oh, it's so nice and so good to be here, too. Thank you for the invite.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm very grateful that you were able to join. Let's jump in with some questions. And first of all, I'd really like for you to tell me about your journey in veterinary medicine. And when did you first know you wanted to be a veterinarian?
Unlike other veterinarians, it was never my child dream. I discovered that I want to be a veterinarian in my teenage years. I always like to take care of animals and take care of people. But when I had to decide what career I will choose, I was thinking about human medicine or veterinary medicine. And then I found a dog. And that dog rocked my world.
Okay.
And that's why I chose the veterinary medicine, because I discovered that I had a great pleasure to take care of animals.
So what kind of a dog was it?
It was a street dog.
Okay.
A mixed breed, like a Tibetan Terrier with a medium-sized dog.
Okay. And what was her name or his name?
Sapeka. It means sassy in English.
Okay.
For the name, you can imagine.
Oh, that's a wonderful story. So as the National Medical Leader of Petcare Brazil, which is our VCA division in Brazil, you're based in Sao Paulo. Tell me about Sao Paulo and what's the population and how many homes have pets there?
Well, Sao Paulo is the richest and the largest city of Brazil.
Okay.
We have more than 11 million persons.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, our population is very big. And we have 2 million pets there. So it's a lot of pets. Almost more than 50% of the homes have pets. And there's the exotics too, because the birds is the second animals the people most have.
I bet that there's some amazing birds there.
Yeah, so nice. And they are beautiful.
Absolutely. So how difficult is it to get into veterinary school in Brazil? How many schools are there? And what are some of the differences between them?
I will start that we have more than 500 veterinary schools in Brazil.
Okay.
I guess we are the country that has most of them, because I know that China has 22 and the entire Europe has 92. So wow. It's not so difficult. You have to make a test. We have an national exam to go to the college. And there are some difficult ones that are specific for some public vet schools. So that's the hardest one. And that's the better veterinary schools that we have in Brazil too.
How long does the education start? I know in Europe, students finish high school and then they go directly into a 6-year program for both undergraduate and veterinary medicine. What does that look like in Brazil?
It's very similar to Europe.
Okay.
We finish the high school and then we enter to the college, the university, and it's 5-year program.
Okay. And in the United States, when you're in vet school, typically the last year is hands-on clinical training. Do your schools offer that, or is it all classroom education?
We have a hands-on education. Most of the schools have wet labs, and in the senior year, we have to go to private hospitals, to industry, to a lot of fields of the veterinary medicine to do the hands-on training. But not all the vet schools do that. Sometimes it's not the entire year, it's just one semester. And sometimes they don't have the wet labs because it's online education.
So when people finish vet school in Brazil, it sounds like there could be a lot of variability in how capable they are because their training sounds very different.
Yes, that's what the students complain the most. They say, oh, I need more experience. I need to do more hands-on. I don't feel like I'm prepared or experienced enough to get in the market to work as a veterinarian.
So of the 500 schools, how many veterinary graduates are there every year?
It's more than 10,000 veterinarians per year in Brazil.
Wow.
Yes, that's a lot. In the state of São Paulo, we have almost 2,000 veterinarians per year.
And is there enough work for them?
Sometimes, yes, but they don't work like they wanted. And sometimes they took jobs like veterinary assistants or front desk reception or go to industry that you don't have to do the hands-on and take care of animals.
Tell me about your veterinary school and what was your first position after you graduated?
Well, I did attend to São Paulo University. It's a very traditional veterinary school. I guess it's the second or the third veterinary school that was created in Brazil.
Okay.
And was amazing time there. I guess everybody has good years at college. So
Yes.
Mine was as well. And when I finished, I went to a private practice to do internship. We didn't know that was internship at the time because they were creating something. Me and a friend, we were the first interns of that hospital.
Uh-huh.
And but that makes me more prepared to do a residence program and then to go work in a big hospital.
When you started your first job, were there things that were surprising to you?
Sometimes because it's very different from what we saw at the university.
Uh-huh.
It's not like a book.
Yes.
There is no recipe to follow. And sometimes you feel, oh my God, what I do now, what I do then. But it's amazing at the same time because you are with an animal and you give them meds and see how they get better. Well, that's made my day. And
Yes.
I spent like 20 hours at the hospitals just to see the animals to get better. And even after 20 hours, I was smiling and I'm ready to get back. So it was an amazing experience because that's how I discovered that I like internal medicine.
Mm-hmm.
I like to investigate. I like to know the pet. And you feel the animal and you see they are thankful for what you're doing.
So what's happened since then? How has your career evolved? And when did you step into leadership at Petcare Brazil?
I graduated 22 years ago. And then I did the internship. Then I go to a residence program in the São Paulo University to do internal medicine. And then since I left my residence program, I started to work at Petcare, first as a ER doctor. And I think that I rock it because I could take care of 5 animals or 20 animals. And you have to look after not only the animals, but the people.
Right.
Because you have to work with veterinary assistants, you have to work with the client, you have to work with another doctors. So I guess that where my leadership skills were born, because I have to learn how to deal with all these problems at the same time.
Yes.
Then I got pregnant and I stayed 8 months away. And when I came back, Petcare was expanded. So I came back to a new hospital and I had the challenge with my friend to build a team and to build a hospital with the same high quality that we had at the first hospital. So that was the first challenge. Then we had to replicate that in another 2 hospitals.
Okay.
So that's how my leadership was going. And then I was responsible for these hospitals. Then We have all the Petcare history. VCA come to us, and we start to bought another hospitals. And I discovered that I like to investigate, I like to learn, and I like to teach the veterinarians about that.
Wonderful. So how many pet care locations are there now, and in what areas of the country are they located?
We have 17 hospitals
Okay.
around Brazil. So we are located in 4 states. We have 8 or 9 hospitals in São Paulo area. And then we have one in Rio de Janeiro, one in Balneário Camboriú, and 5 at Porto Alegre.
And how often do you get to visit the different hospitals, or are you primarily in the Sao Paulo locations?
I primarily stay at São Paulo location. So I visit all the hospitals in São Paulo. I'm preparing to visit more hospitals next year.
Okay.
So I know that my new role will make me do that. So yes. I'm preparing to travel more and see more hospitals.
Can you tell me a little bit about how First Pet Care Hospital got started?
Yes, Dr. Carla Bell, since she graduated and she came to US to learn more, she spent a time at the Animal Medical Center. And when she came back to Brazil, she said, I want to do something similar. I want to bring all this quality to Brazil too. I want that the pet parent has the same quality that we see in other countries. So she worked hard, and then she built Petcare at Morumbi. And this was the first unity in 1991. And it was the first place, I guess, in Brazil that had an ultrasound machine.
Wow, okay.
Was not so good at the time because
ultrasound machines weren't, but
yeah, we didn't have that technology that we have today, but that changed everything. So she started to innovate more and call all the good doctors to work for her. And at first, we were seeing and bringing the quality medicine for the pets. Then the market changed. So we saw that we have to look at the client too. So the client is important to us. We developed a lot of skills about that. And we have the veterinarian. You can't forget about the veterinarian.
True.
So the veterinarian became an important part of that too. So that's how Petcare was born and how it's flourishing now.
I'm very, very impressed by Dr. Burrell. I've had the opportunity to meet her and talk with her, and it really is remarkable what she was able to do in building and growing those practices. And it sounds like a recipe for success that we use as well, that you have to focus on the patients, but you also have to focus on clients and on your team in the hospital that's providing care. So that really explains why she was successful taking that approach, I think.
Yes, and I admire her so much because she's a woman, first of all. And
yes,
I know that there's not so common to see women in leadership or building companies. So she's amazing about that. And she have a good eye for people too. So she say, oh, you're good at leadership. Oh, you're good at hospitalization. Oh, maybe we can make you a good surgeon. So she's so good about looking at people and say, you will rock this.
Excellent. Yeah, it really is wonderful to have built both so many hospitals in such high quality. So what kinds of services are offered in your pet care hospitals?
We are hybrid, so we are general practice, and we have specialties too.
Okay.
We have some places that are too special. So we have a radiotherapy center.
Okay.
In Latin America, I guess it's only 2. One located in Rio de Janeiro and one located in São Paulo. So São Paulo is our practice. And we have a blood bank. So we do a lot of transfusions, and we take care of animals that need all those care about the chemotherapy.
Okay.
We have labs too, so it helps us to get the results more consistent and with quality.
And you did a residency in internal medicine, and internal medicine is quite broad. So what areas of internal medicine do you really like?
I started liking and loving cardiology, but then I discovered the anesthesiology.
Okay.
And I went through the critical care. I always look at, I like that stuff. I like the hospitalization. I like to see this. I like to see that. And the endocrinology too. And I can't forget, I love infectious disease too. I love microbiology.
Yes. Excellent. Well, your patients are very lucky then because you have broad interests. So you started an internship program for new graduates in your hospital. Share with me a little bit about how that works. Is there a lot of interest from new graduates?
Yes, there's a lot of interest because the new grads are always complaining that they don't have the experience at college. So that's why we create the internship. We have only like 12 to 15 interns each year, but we have the subscription of 900 veterinarians.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. But only 80 or 60 of them goes to interview, and we look at their resume, and we pick only 15 or 12 of them.
So you have 900 that apply, and then around 90 that make it to an interview, and then 12 to 15 that start. And so how is the program constructed? Is it a year long?
It's 2 years.
2 years, okay.
Yes. We provide them online classes. We made a review about everything they saw at the college, but everything you learn at the hospital in the hands-on, you have to bring to a discussion and even for the classes to make sense. So you connect what you learn in theory with what you see at practice.
Okay.
So that's the complete equation. So that's very nice. And I see those interns with the same glaze that I had when I did my internship.
Yes.
And they are amazed about that.
It is one of my favorite things about teaching because when you've been in the profession a long time, things can become routine. But when you're teaching and you see through the eyes of someone who's seeing it for the first time, it's very, very rewarding and rewarding to watch people grow that way. So if it's a 2-year program, do you just take people every 2 years or do you take them every year and then they cycle through?
We have every year.
Okay.
So the first 15 of them just graduated. So we have every year.
Okay. And it also is fun, I bet, when the next class comes in for the current interns to see how far they've come. That's an exciting learning opportunity as well.
Yes. We hired most of them. So
that's what I was going to ask, if they stayed with you or if they left and went out to other practices.
No, most of them stay with us, like 75%.
Excellent. And you know that they're very well trained then.
Yeah.
I also understand that Brazil does not have an official career path for veterinary technicians. Is that right?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
So how is the nursing care provided to your patients?
We have veterinary assistants and veterinary nurses. They are allowed to do a lot of things, but with the supervision of a veterinarian. But all the invasive things and the most complicated things, it's a veterinarian that has to do.
And do you see a time in the future where there will be a certification for veterinary technicians in Brazil?
I hope so, because we are lacking of that kind of service. And since we have so many vet schools, maybe part of them could be for veterinary technicians because they are not ready to be veterinary doctors. So maybe we can start with that, but I know it's a government situation and discussion, but we can bring that to them.
Yes. And since there are so many veterinary schools and veterinary graduates every year, do you see that some of those graduates actually then become veterinary assistants and nurses instead of becoming practicing veterinarians?
Yes, because some of them does that. Sometimes we hire veterinary assistants. They are new veterinarian, new grads, but they don't want to work as a veterinarian because they don't feel prepared. And they say, oh, I want to work as a veterinary assistant.
Well, we're working very hard in the United States on making sure that all states have a pathway for veterinary technicians to become licensed, and almost all of them do. And then also on career pathing. So being a veterinary assistant and a veterinary technician, often the people that are doing that role will not stay in the profession. They'll leave, and we have built a strong career pathing program to help give clear ideas of how to grow and how to become even better as a veterinary technician or assistant. So I love seeing that development in Brazil as well, because I'm sure that your patients' needs are the same and they really are the patient advocate. So Petcare Brazil fully joined VCA in summer of 2024. What programs are you most excited about gaining for your practices being a part of VCA?
The VCA Academy is so awesome. It's an opportunity to learn, and it's very easy to follow the steps. The hands-free, because I know that we have veterinary assistants. They can provide this kind of care, but at the same time, it's kind of dangerous because of the radiation.
Right.
The mentorship program I found so inspiring too, because that's one that I use when we create our internship. I want to the new grads, our interns, be inspired by our veterinarians. And it goes on. The patient safety program.
Yes.
That's one of my passions. That's when I've been working.
Well, and I'm very excited, certainly on behalf of medical operations. And I know the rest of the senior leadership team is very, very excited and want to partner even more closely than we have been. So it was wonderful news when that happened this summer. And I'm very happy that we're going to be working even more closely together. Now, you've had the opportunity to visit some VCA locations. What are some of the similarities and some of the differences with veterinary practice in Brazil?
When I compare with my practice, I see that the high quality medicine is something we have in common. And then I was amazed when I saw VCA, how they know every client, how they know the needs of their teams, and how they engage the team. That's something amazing. This is very similar to what we do in Brazil, and the passion for pets too. There wasn't a place where a technician or a vet was hugging and kissing and doing something silly with the dogs or with the cats. And it's amazing. And see how you love pets and see how we do too. The different things, I guess, comes from the country culture.
Okay.
Here, I see it's very organized. The system is very organized. You have schedules. In Brazil, at least at Petcare, we don't work with scheduled times or with appointments, only for some services. So it takes a lot of veterinarians and a lot of assistants to make all the things going well. And I saw hospitals with 2, 3, or 7 veterinarians. My hospital works with 12 or 13 veterinarians, so that's something different. We need more veterinarians to do the work since we don't have technicians. So I guess this is one of the things that I see different.
Sibele, we're nearing the end of our time together. In closing, what do you want our listeners to know about pet owners in Brazil?
Oh, pet owners in Brazil, we don't call owners, we call pet parents because they are so passionate about it. I know there's a change here in US too, but when they bring their pets to our hospitals, they are bringing their love, the love of their lives. So it's a huge responsibility that we have with them. And they are very well informed now.
Okay.
So they look at Google, they share information on Instagram and on Facebook or something like that in social media. So the veterinarians have to have communication skills to break this barrier, because sometimes I want to do that. I just came here because I read on the internet that it's good for my my dog. So we have to make them, oh no, that's not so good for your dog. Maybe it could be good for other dogs. So we have to have some good communication skills. But they are very, very passionate, and they are not accepting euthanasia as before. That's something that changed a lot in the past 20 years. So we have palliative care too because of that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we can do the palliative care and talk to them, do a multi-professional group to take care of one pet.
And that's really interesting because the whole hospice and palliative care movement in the United States with veterinary medicine is fairly recent as well. And I think it's a wonderful addition to our profession. Well, Sibele, it is always a pleasure to talk with you. I thank you so much for joining. I know that our listeners are going to be so excited to hear your story and to learn more about Brazil. And I'm very happy we're going to be working more closely together in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it and learned a few helpful tips. If you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe and listen to our previous episodes to hear the many valuable insights and lessons from our past guests. Don't forget to leave a review for today's episode and share with friends. Make sure to follow VCA Animal Hospitals on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram to stay in the loop. For more inspiring stories, visit our website at vcavoice.com.